Listen to how specifically how he turns the whole situation around and makes it seem like it's the Republicans who are responsible for ICE agents, or I'm sorry, for the TSA agents not getting paid. Take special note. Notice how he flips this whole situation on its head. Cut to the clip.
Of a deal from Republican senators that came back from the White House, some talks that they're going to try to draft a deal that Democrats and Republicans can all agree to. What can you tell us about that?
Well, the deal is no different than what we've been demanding. I know that they're calling this the Texas two-step. I prefer the Jersey, get the hell out of my way. They put ICE in our airports to cause more chaos and, frankly, cruelty to the passengers who are waiting in long lines. That's not where ICE belongs. We should have paid TSA weeks ago. Democrats have for 7 times tried to get them just to pay TSA, pay FEMA, pay the Coast Guard. We are fighting over ICE because they've been doing horrific, hellish things in our communities, slamming Americans to the pavement, barging and breaking down doors to American homes, pulling veterans out in their underwear.
What the fuck?
And putting them in zip ties. So if they want to fund that through reconciliation, which is a 50th vote threshold, that's their right and their prerogative. But I'm not going to vote for another dollar for that agency.
Hey, Senator, could you explain to people that may not have been following this closely how Democrats, you say 7 times, have gone to the floor and tried to get our TSA agents in airports paid, and Republicans have killed that every single time. Can you explain that?
Yeah, it's very simple. There's been a massive fight over ICE, which is in the Department of Homeland Security. There has been, understandably, all across this country, worries about their tactics, the violence that's resulted, the chaos in communities. And so Democrats have said we're not giving more money to an agency that's out of control without substantive reforms. Well, what this president and the Republicans' position is, okay, if you don't want to fund ICE, you're not going to fund any other agency. We're going to shut down the whole Department of Homeland Security. And that's absurd. They're holding TSA hostage, causing pain there in hopes that it'll force many of our moderates to break and say, okay, don't hurt us anymore. We'll give you what you want with ICE. That's just not happening. That's DOA. And we hope that this deal that they're about to do, which is called a deal, really it's a capitulation to really what we need right now, which is to release our airports, release funding to TSA and to other key agencies like FEMA and like the Coast Guard, and let's start ending the cruelty and, frankly, the chaos that you've been causing with these ICE agents, which are funded already to the tune of an amount greater than most countries' militaries.
But wait, there's more. So we don't just have Cory Booker, who's trying to, hold the crown as idiot of the Democratic Party. Chuck the Schmuck Schumer said, hold my beer. Let's watch his version of recreating reality and living in the land of make-believe. Cut to the clip.
Everywhere ICE goes, trouble follows. We've seen that. And it is highly likely the airports will be no exception. No one trusts that ICE is going to make things better.
Once again, ICE agents have arrived here in Philadelphia, but I do want to point out, this is an empty line right now. We are standing in the middle where travelers come to check in for TSA. Yesterday, this was all the way back to the garage. So good news today, lines aren't too bad. We're live from PHL. Brianna Gallagher, Channel 6 Action News.
It's just absolutely crazy. But it's not just with elected officials and famous people. People like Chuck the Schmuck and Cory Booker and Timu Obama, they have caused a contagion of this mental disease, this derangement of the mind where people have joined them in the land of make-believe. Now, check this out. This is what takes the cake right here. Here's a guy that works for the TSA. He works for the freaking TSA, and he apparently is in a management position. And so he even can't live in reality, and he's right there watching all the action. You won't believe what he has to say. Let's check this guy out who obviously has Trump derangement syndrome and hear what things are like in his land of make-believe in the mind. Cut to the clip.
There's There's also some mixed messaging here, right? Because we're hearing that from Secretary Duffy, but then Tom Homan, who's overseeing this deployment, he has said, look, this is just to help for functions that that ICE agents are not trained for. He says, this could help with maybe security lines. So we're seeing that in Atlanta. My colleagues there on the ground saying ICE agents are outside the security checkpoint. I guess essentially it could be sort of a crowd control situation. Does that help, though, in your view, when it comes to wait times?
Wait for it. Here it comes.
No.
What? What the fuck?
Oh my God! Wow! Ah! In Atlanta, there are people already out there directing the lines and directing passengers to navigate the airport. I don't think that helps. I think that would probably put more passengers on the edge, just from my experience in talking with family and friends. I don't think that's a welcomed thing there by the traveling public.
Are you serious?
I like it. I mean, I think Trump's going to hold it off. I like it.
Most of the travelers we spoke with say while it's disappointing the current shutdown is having a negative impact on TSA staff, they're pleased to see ICE agents stepping in.
They're protecting us. Yeah.
I was actually very excited to see some of the ICE agents here helping out their fellow workers. So that made me feel better that we have some extra hands on deck to make things happen.
The numbers have dropped off. The lines are getting shorter. I think the average wait time now is under 40 minutes. So if you have a flight to catch today, it's a good time to come to Hartsfield-Jackson International.
I mean, come on. You see something like that and you're like, there's no saving this guy. It's just complete psychosis. This is a psyop. It's a psyop. And obviously it's working.